The arena lights were so bright that Evan Cole had to blink a few times before he could see clearly. He stood at the entrance gate holding a small bag with the few things he owned. He looked young, thin, and much too human. Around him, the other competitors were taller, stronger, and covered in natural armor or glowing marks that showed their alien strength. They stared at him for a moment, then began to laugh. Evan did not look back at them. He had heard this kind of laughter many times before. Humans were new to the galactic community, and many species believed humans were weak, slow, and unimpressive. And now, seeing a human teenager enter the galactic youth trials, they found it even funnier. A tall, spike-covered alien stepped forward and pointed at Evan as he walked past. Its voice was deep and echoing. "Look at the small human. He does not have claws. He does not have wings. He does not have armor. Why is he here?" Another alien, this one with thin, transparent skin, made a clicking sound that meant laughter in its language. Maybe humans joined the trials by mistake. Maybe he came to watch, not fight. Evan kept walking. He found his assigned waiting area and sat on a metal bench. He placed his bag beside him and took a slow breath. He could feel the energy of the arena vibrating through the walls. The trials were a big deal. Every year, young aliens from all over the galaxy came here to prove who was fastest, strongest, or smartest. No human had ever joined before. Evan was the first. A screen above the arena flashed bright blue with the list of events. Evan read the glowing words without reacting. He already knew which event he had been placed into. The Velocity Gauntlet. It was the hardest course, known for broken bones and fainting competitors. Many aliens refused to enter it. Evan remembered when he received the assignment. The official had looked confused. "You are sure you want this one?" the official asked. Most species train for years before trying it. Evan had only nodded. He did not boast and he did not explain. He never liked explaining himself. Words never help. Only actions did. Now, as he waited for his turn, he watched the aliens practice. One competitor smashed a heavy metal training block with one punch. Another hovered in the air, wings beating fast like a giant insect. Another stretched a long tail as strong as a steel cable. The crowd cheered loudly each time a display of power lit up the arena. Evan stretched his arms quietly. He did not have wings or claws or a tail. His muscles did not glow. His bones did not make sparks when he moved. All he had was his training, his breath, and his timing. One small alien child sitting with the spectators noticed Evan and whispered to its parent, "Why is there a human? They are too soft." The parent gave a quick but gentle answer. "Let him try. Even the smallest creature can surprise us." Evan heard them, but he looked down at the ground to keep himself calm. He did not come here to prove those people wrong. He came here to prove something to himself. When his name finally appeared on the giant screen, the arena changed. The laughter softened. The noise faded into a strange, focused quiet. No one wanted to miss what would certainly be a disaster. A voice boomed from the speakers. "Next competitor, Evan Cole of Earth." Some aliens snickered again. Some waited with curiosity. Others crossed their arms, ready to watch a human fail. Evan stepped into the starting zone of the Velocity Gauntlet. The platform felt cool under his feet. In front of him stretched a twisting path of floating platforms, shifting walls, energy traps, moving fields of gravity, and sudden drops into darkness. He had seen the recordings many times, but seeing it in person felt different. Bigger. Faster. The starting gate closed behind him. He breathed in slowly. Then out. A countdown appeared in the air. 3. Evan lowered his body. He focused his mind until everything became quiet. He placed his foot forward. Begin. The moment the signal flashed, Evan moved. He did not sprint blindly. He flowed. His feet landed softly. His eyes scanned fast. His body reacted even faster. The crowd leaned in, expecting a fall in the first few seconds. But Evan did not fall. He leaped from one moving platform to another with perfect balance. He ducked under a rising wall a fraction of a second before it closed. He slid across a shifting panel just before it turned sideways. The aliens watching felt something strange. Confusion. Humans were not supposed to be this fast. They were not supposed to adapt this quickly. But the human teenager kept moving, each motion smooth, sharp, and precise. He did not look afraid. He looked focused, as if every part of this challenge made sense to him. By the time he reached the middle of the course, the arena was silent. No one laughed now. And Evan, without slowing, pushed forward into the hardest part of the gauntlet, ready to show what a human could really do. Evan reached the midpoint of the Velocity Gauntlet, and the air around him changed. The first section tested speed and balance, but the second section was something else. Something even trained alien competitors feared. It was known as the phase no human should ever attempt. Even the arena announcer sounded unsure as he spoke. The competitor enters Section 2, the reaction spiral. Most aliens backed away from the rails, whispering in disbelief. The reaction spiral was unpredictable. The platforms didn't move in patterns. The walls didn't shift on rhythm. Everything happened at random, faster than most species could think, let alone move. A whisper spread through the crowd. No human has reflexes for this. He will fall in seconds. This is impossible. Evan ignored all of it. He stepped forward. The ground beneath him shimmered as if warning him to turn back. But he didn't. His heartbeat was steady, his mind focused. Every muscle in his body felt awake. The first platform shot upward like a launched rocket. Evan jumped back just in time. A glowing blade of light sliced across where he had been standing. Gasps rippled through the arena. He didn't flinch. He stepped forward again. The walls spun, the floor twisted, and floating rings zipped across the air like angry insects. Evan moved with them, not fighting the chaos but flowing with it. He slid under a spinning bar right before it heated red. He jumped to a tiny platform the instant another platform cracked beneath him. His body bent and turned in ways the audience didn't expect from a human. A tall, armored alien clenched his jaw. "He is guessing," he said. But an older alien beside him shook her head slowly. "No. He is reading it." Somehow, Evan was reading the course. Its rhythm, its motion, its energy. Even when it tried to confuse him, he found a small pattern within the chaos. He stepped where the wind shifted. He dodged where the lights flickered. He moved with instinct that seemed too sharp for a human teenager. At one point, a gravity pulse hit the entire section. The stronger aliens usually braced themselves or dug their claws into the metal. But Evan had no claws. Instead, he leaped forward right before the pulse hit him. His body floated for a brief moment like he was suspended in time, then he landed on a platform that flipped upside down. The audience screamed. Evan held on with only his fingertips. His feet dangled over a drop so deep it looked like a bottomless well. The platform shook violently, trying to throw him off. His arm muscles trembled, but he gritted his teeth and swung his body upward. He climbed onto the top just as the platform shot forward with high speed. The wind whipped across his face. His hair pushed back. His eyes stayed locked forward. The crowd watched silently. No one laughed anymore. Even the announcer sounded stunned. Competitor Evan Cole, still advancing. Aliens who mocked him openly earlier now leaned forward with wide eyes. Some didn't blink. Some forgot they were holding snacks. A few even whispered prayers, whether for his success or survival no one could tell. The reaction spiral entered its final stretch. This part was known as the blink corridor. Most creatures couldn't follow the movement inside it. Lights flashed in rapid bursts, forcing the brain to lose focus. Many competitors failed here, blinded and disoriented. But Evan took a slow breath and stepped inside. The lights exploded in brightness. Then darkness. Then brightness again, faster and faster, until shapes blurred. Walls shifted left and right with no warning. The floor rose and fell like ocean waves. Sounds bounced in strange echoes. Even the audience couldn't follow what was happening. But Evan kept moving. He had trained for this, not with alien technology but in a small, simple gym back on Earth. He had practiced blindfolded runs, balance drills in darkness, sound-based obstacles. He didn't need sight alone. He used every sense he had. He listened. A shift in the air meant a wall was swinging. A faint hum meant the floor was heating. A soft vibration meant a platform was about to tilt. He reacted before the dangers fully formed. Inside the corridor, Evan became faster than the chaos. His steps were smooth, his breathing controlled. He ducked, jumped, twisted, and rolled as if he had memorized the entire sequence, even though the sequence changed every time. Aliens watching began to stand. Some even cheered. Others tried to record the moment. Because this wasn't just impressive. This was impossible. Evan reached the end of the blink corridor and stepped out with a calm expression. His clothes were dusty. A small cut was on his arm. But his eyes showed no fear. Only focus. For the first time since he entered the trials, he heard something unexpected. Silence, then applause. Aliens clapped their claws, wings, tendrils, and metal limbs. Even those who mocked him stood in respect. But the trial was far from over. Ahead waited the final zone of Section 2, the gravity breaker. A challenge so dangerous that even elite competitors avoided it. A place where the laws of physics bent like soft metal. Evan stepped toward it without hesitation. The trial no human should attempt. And yet he would. The moment Evan stepped into the gravity breaker, every screen in the arena zoomed in. This was the final part of the velocity gauntlet, the hardest section, the one that crushed even the strongest alien champions. The area looked empty at first, but everyone knew the danger was invisible. Gravity fields shifted randomly, bending directions, pushing bodies sideways and pulling them upward with no warning. Most competitors who entered this zone lasted only a few seconds. Evan stood at the edge, breathing slowly. His limbs felt heavy, then suddenly light, then normal again. The shifting gravity tried to confuse him before he even took a step. The announcer's voice trembled slightly. The human competitor is entering the final chamber. Aliens leaned forward, not sure if they wanted to watch failure or witness something unexpected again. Evan took his first step. Instantly, gravity flipped sideways. Instead of falling forward, he slid left across the floor. He hit a metal wall with a thud but caught himself before losing balance. The floor became the wall. The wall became the ceiling. But Evan didn't panic. He pushed off, using the momentum to land on a narrow beam that extended into the air like a thin metal branch. The beam trembled. The entire crowd gasped. Evan steadied himself and looked ahead. The course twisted in impossible angles, but his mind worked fast. Back on Earth, he trained in strange ways, not because he wanted to be a champion but because he loved challenges. He climbed broken staircases, ran through forests with uneven ground, practiced balance on ropes tied between trees. Those simple skills kept him alive here. The gravity breaker shifted again. A pulse of force hit him from below, sending him upward like he was weightless. Evan twisted in the air and grabbed a floating ring that hovered for only a few seconds before vanishing. He swung forward, letting go at the exact moment gravity snapped downward. He dropped like a stone. But a rising platform shot upward beneath him at the same time. He landed on it perfectly as if he had planned every detail. Spectators stared with open mouths, unable to understand how a human teenager moved with such timing. A robotic alien whispered, "This is not luck. He is adapting faster than the system." Another alien shook his head. "No one adapts this fast." But Evan did. More gravity shifts came. A sideways pull. A spinning vortex. A sudden downward crush. Evan's muscles burned, his heart pounded, but he refused to slow down. Every shift was a puzzle, and he solved each one by focusing not on fear but on movement. The course grew more aggressive now. Metal tiles shot upward like traps. Invisible waves bent the air. A ring collapsed into sparks when he touched it. But Evan kept moving forward. He ducked under a gravity wave that flattened the platform behind him. He rolled across a spiraling path. He jumped through a tightening gap that snapped shut like jaws. Every second looked like his last. Yet he survived. The crowd began to cheer louder and louder. What started as curiosity turned into excitement, then awe. Even the announcer forgot to speak for several moments, his voice lost in shock. Then the final obstacle appeared. A rotating sphere floated in the center of the chamber. It was known as the core pulse, a device that emitted rapid gravity shocks. Competitors had to cross the small bridge leading to the exit, but the core pulse made the bridge twist, drop, and flip at random. Evan studied it. He waited. Then he ran. The bridge flipped backward, but Evan let himself fall with it and used the swing to launch upward. The core pulse sent a sideways blast, but he leaned into it, letting it throw him forward instead of knocking him down. The last shock came, stronger than the others. The bridge tilted sharply. Evan jumped. For a moment he was floating in open air. The entire arena held its breath. The shockwave rippled behind him. Evan twisted his body, his arm reached out. He grabbed the ledge of the exit door. Silence. Then the door's sensors flashed green. He had cleared the velocity gauntlet. The arena exploded with sound. Cheers, screams, applause, so loud the metal seats vibrated. Aliens who once mocked him now shouted his name. A few recorded the moment, sending it across the galaxy. Screens everywhere replayed the jump in slow motion. Officials near the scoreboard froze. Because something impossible had happened. Time, 13 seconds. The previous record had been 27 seconds. The best alien champion of all time had never crossed the gauntlet faster than that. But Evan Cole, a simple human teenager, had done it in half the time. The announcer stammered, a new record. Galactic record. Unbroken. Unmatched. The crowd roared. For the first time in history, the galaxy witnessed what a human could do when everyone underestimated him. And it stunned every planet watching. Evan stood there, breathing hard, sweat dripping, eyes calm. He knew the galaxy would never see humans the same way again. When Evan stepped down from the final platform, dozens of officials surrounded him. They were tall, armored, glowing, floating, each from different species. Some looked amazed, some confused, and some even looked a little scared. No one expected a human teenager to break a galactic record. No one believed a human could survive the velocity gauntlet, let alone outrun it. Now everyone wanted answers. Evan stood quietly as scanners passed over him. They checked his muscles, bones, heartbeat, even his neural signals. The machines beeped in confusion. A tall official with silver skin frowned. "He is normal," she said. "Completely normal." Another alien shook his head. "Impossible. No normal human can react like that. Not in 13 seconds. Evan just rubbed the back of his neck awkwardly. He looked like he didn't understand why everyone was shocked. To him it felt simple. He trained for this. He wanted this. He pushed himself every day. But to the galaxy his performance made no sense. Finally, the judges moved him into a quiet room for questions. The room looked empty, just a table, 2 chairs, and a glowing panel on the wall. Evan sat down. Across from him sat 3 alien specialists. A blue-feathered alien leaned forward. "Evan Cole, how did you complete the course at such speed?" Evan blinked. "I ran." The alien narrowed his eyes. "How?" "The obstacles move faster than most species can think." Evan paused. He wasn't sure how to explain human evolution to creatures that lived on planets nothing like Earth. But he tried. "Humans are built for survival," he said simply. "We're not the strongest, not the fastest, but we adapt." The specialists exchanged looks. Evan continued, "Back on Earth we trained our bodies for thousands of years. Running long distances, surviving harsh environments, avoiding predators bigger than us." He tapped his head. "We learned to solve problems fast. We didn't have claws or armor, so we had to use our minds and our timing." A metal-bodied alien tilted its head. "Your reflexes seem beyond your species." Evan shook his head. "No. Lots of humans have good reflexes. I just train mine. I practice balance, quick movements, reading energy and motion. Not with alien tech, just with simple things." "What things?" another asked. Evan smiled softly, remembering home. Running through forests, jumping rocks, balancing on fallen trees, dodging branches, timing my steps in the dark. Nature moves fast too. You learn to move with it." The aliens looked surprised. One whispered, "He trained with primitive tools." But they didn't understand. That was the point. Human strength came from struggle, challenge, unpredictability. Evan leaned back. "Humans don't need high technology to get stronger. We've always used what we had." The room went silent for a moment. Then the questions changed. A tall official asked, "Were you afraid?" "The gauntlet is designed to crush competitors." Evan nodded slowly. "Of course. But fear helps us. Humans learn to run, jump, and react because fear kept us alive." He looked at the officials honestly. "Fear isn't always weakness. Sometimes it makes you faster." The aliens exchanged thoughtful looks. None of them had expected such an answer. To many species, fear was shameful. But to humans, fear was fuel. One of the specialists asked, "Why did you continue when gravity shifted?" "Most competitors freeze or panic." Evan smiled lightly. "Humans are used to things going wrong. Earth isn't easy. Weather changes fast. Ground breaks under your feet. Animals appear out of nowhere. Gravity changing felt familiar." "Familiar?" the official repeated, stunned. "Yeah," Evan said. "Life is unpredictable. You learn to expect the unexpected." More silence. Slowly the understanding spread through the room. Human strength wasn't about muscle. It wasn't about power. It wasn't even about speed. It was about adaptation. Evan's body could adjust quickly because his mind did first. He didn't fight the gauntlet, he worked with it. He treated every shift like a natural movement, not an attack. One official stood up. "Your species, your people, how many can do what you did today?" Evan thought for a moment. Not many can break records. But many can survive something like that. Humans are good at survival. The aliens looked at one another, a new kind of respect in their eyes. Outside the room, more officials waited. Some held datapads. Some held invitations. Some held partnership contracts. For the first time ever, the galaxy wanted Earth, not as a weak newcomer but as a species worth studying and understanding. Evan stepped out of the room and a bright light hit his face from dozens of cameras. Reporters spoke in different languages, all excited. "There he is. The human champion. The 13-second boy. Evan felt overwhelmed, but he smiled calmly. He didn't feel like a hero. He just felt like himself. But the galaxy didn't see him as just anything anymore. They saw the truth behind human strength, simple, ancient, natural. A strength that came from struggle, resilience, and adaptability. And it changed everything. Even the highest alien academies began sending requests for humans to join their training programs. They wanted to learn the secrets behind Earth's survival methods. All because one teenager showed what humans were capable of when underestimated. And the galaxy had only seen the beginning. Evan stood at the center of the arena as the lights dimmed around him. The cheers had finally softened, but the excitement in the air was still strong, like electricity that refused to fade. His name echoed through every corner of the stadium. A human teenager, someone the galaxy once ignored, had changed everything in only 13 seconds. News drones hovered above him, recording every breath. Alien reporters spoke rapidly, trying to capture the moment before it slipped away. And around the arena, millions of spectators continued to stare at the screens that replayed Evan's final jump again and again. For many, this wasn't just a victory. It was a shock to the entire galaxy. Evan Cole had done something no human, no alien, no creature in any recorded system had ever achieved. He had beaten the velocity gauntlet so fast that the machine still struggled to verify the time. And when the number appeared, 13 seconds, the galaxy fell silent. Now that silence was gone. It was replaced with something new. Respect. A tall alien with metal plates for skin approached Evan and bowed deeply. "You have changed the trials," the alien said. "Forever." Evan didn't know how to respond. He wasn't used to respect. Back on Earth, he was just a quiet kid who trained to prove something to himself. He never imagined that other species would look at him like he was a legend. A group of young competitors from different planets gathered near him. Some had wings, others had glowing eyes, some had 3 arms. They looked at him with admiration instead of mockery. One of them, a small alien with bright, shifting colors, asked, "How did you know you could do it?" Evan scratched his head. "I didn't know. I just tried." The small alien nodded with wide eyes, as if that simple answer held the secret of the universe. More officials approached him, carrying data pads and invitations. Some offered him sponsorships. Some wanted him to join elite programs. Some wanted Earth to join the Galaxy League of Competitors for the first time in history. Earth, the planet once ignored, dismissed as primitive, was suddenly valuable. But Evan wasn't thinking about contracts or fame. He was thinking about his parents back home, probably watching him from a small living room screen. He hoped they weren't too scared during the dangerous parts. He hoped they were proud. A gentle voice spoke behind him. "You know, you've opened the door for others." Evan turned and saw Mira, the oldest official of the trials, a wise alien with soft golden markings across her skin. She studied him with thoughtful eyes. "Many young humans will follow you now," she said, "because you showed them that your species is not weak. You showed them your true nature." "My nature?" Evan asked quietly. "Yes," she said. "Humans endure. Humans adapt. Humans rise when others expect them to fall." Evan looked around at the arena, feeling the weight of her words. He didn't want to be seen as a hero. He didn't want to be something bigger than himself. But the truth was simple: the galaxy had already changed because of him. Mira continued, "Before today, humans were not taken seriously. But now every academy, every team, every scientist wants to study your training, your instincts, your strength. You have rewritten what the galaxy believes about your entire species." Evan felt a strange mix of pride and responsibility. It was heavy but not too heavy for him. He had carried heavier things during his training back home: emotions, fears, doubts. This felt different. This felt good. Later, as he walked through the long hall behind the arena, a giant holographic screen lit up above him. It displayed new galactic record. Evan Cole, human. 13.02 seconds. The words glowed like stars. He stopped and stared at it for a moment. It didn't feel real. How could someone like him, someone ordinary, do something extraordinary? But then he understood. He wasn't ordinary. No human was. Every human carried the same potential: to adapt, to survive, to succeed in the face of impossible odds. Evan was just the first to show the galaxy what humanity truly was. When he stepped out of the building, thousands of young spectators gathered outside. They cheered wildly. Some held signs with his name written in glowing ink. Some shouted that they wanted to be like him. Others said they wanted to visit Earth. Evan smiled shyly and waved. A girl with silver hair and bright green eyes stepped forward and asked, "What will you do now?" Evan looked at the sky, at the stars, at the infinite worlds waiting beyond. He felt excitement, fear, and hope all at once. "I think," he said softly, "I'll keep going. I'll train. I'll learn. And maybe I'll help other humans join the trials." The crowd cheered again, because they knew what he meant. The trials would never be the same. Rules would change. Training would evolve. New species would join. And humans, once mocked, would now be respected competitors. All because one teenager refused to give up. One human who adapted. One human who pushed forward. One human who finished in 13 seconds. Evan Cole had changed the trials forever. And the galaxy would remember his name for generations.